is Prudent Woman with myself, Rulani Baloi. I am your host. Tonight, I'm excited to have you joining us. Those of you who are listening to us on Bold Moves Radio, you are very much welcome. If you want to chat with us, send your WhatsApps to 081 358 8745. Those of you who are listening and watching us through Facebook and YouTube, welcome. You can chat with us, send your comments, your suggestions throughout the show, your questions on your comments section. You are welcome, and I would like to say you are welcome to all our new viewers who are joining us for the first time today. This show is called Prudent Woman. This is a show where we are empowering each other as ladies. We host different professionals to come and bring awareness on issues that pertains to life, that empowers a woman to take the space that have been given to them in society and in order to impact society. And this is not to say men, you are left out. If you are watching us as well, we would like to say thank you so much for joining us. In this show, this is where you'll be able to get more information of what is it that women are interested in and what are their expectations. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say to you, I'm not alone. I have with me the legal practitioner, Mikateko Mabobo. She has been with us in the past few weeks. Before I introduce to you the topic of today, I would like us to just do a recap of what we did last week. Last week, we hosted the club members of Finding Me Book Club, and we had the founder, Thabiseng Chauke. She was here with us and with her members. And we were excited because last week, as ladies, we were taught on what are the benefits of reading books. And we have experienced. I am so grateful because throughout the week, I had a lot of testimonies from ladies who went out and started to take books and read. Some of them could be able to make sure that what they're studying in the books, they're able to put it in action. So we are excited as prudent women, and we say we will never be the same. Ladies, let us get empowered. Let us get knowledge, for knowledge is power. It is that which we know that will be able to stand out and go and look for more information to become better people, to take intentional decisions which are backed by knowledge, which we do not become reactionary, but is backed by information that we have gathered in times where we did not need it. But when the season arises, we are able to come out and be empowered on those issues. And last week, Thabiseng and her members from Finding Me Book Club, they had a competition. They brought to us a book that was said that if you participate in the competition, you'll be a winner. And I've promised that today we will be introducing the winner of the competition. And I would like to say, I am proud this evening to say the winner of the book is Rulani, and not myself, Rulani Magaisa. I would like for all of us, let's give her a virtual clapping of hands. Rulani, you are the winner of the book competition, but of course, it had conditions. We said anyone who wins the book's title is Sin of Omission. You will get the book. You will be given an opportunity to go through the book. Finding Me Book Club has got a list of books that they are reading, and Sin of Omission is one of the books that is in there. A list of books that they are reading, and they will invite you to join them when they go for a review of Sin of Omission, and you are welcome to go and join them. And I would like to believe you'll never be the same. I testified myself here to say there are certain books, I've read in my life, which I keep on going back and refer to them because they've got so much wisdom in them. They've got so much knowledge in them that anytime I'm challenged on that area, I'm able to go back and view what was the book talking about and what were the issues that were dealt up on and what was the advice. And in that way, you are able to take intentional decisions. So ladies, tonight, I'm excited. As I said, we have Mikateko Mabobo. You remember her? We had her. She was taking us through different marital regimes. And Mikateko, when we had our review of Prudent Women, when we were doing the 6 months anniversary of Prudent Woman, the ladies were talking more on what they've learned through the marital regime sessions. So I would like to say, it's like ladies enjoyed your sessions. They loved your the awareness that you brought along, and would like to say thank you so much for taking your time. We know you are a busy woman, a whole lot of things that you have to study. I know once a person is in the legal fraternity, you are forever reading because that's what you are expected to do. You should be reading papers and papers, files and files. But we would like to say thank you, Mikateko, for taking time out of your hectic schedule and join the Prudent Woman to come and bring awareness on different legal issues. Will you like to greet our audience this evening? Mikateko?
A good evening to you, Rulani, and good evening to the viewers and also to the listeners of our program, Prudent Woman. I'm happy to be back again and to proceed with marital regimes. And I believe today we are going to be talking about the civil marriage. That was the only topic that was remaining, that today we are going to digest it in full, its implications and its importance for those who chooses to get married in terms of the civil marriages.
Yes, thank you, Mikateko. You know, I am excited this evening because I know after these sessions, we will all never be the same. And I trust that, ladies, you are going to be sending through your questions, your comments, your experiences so that you can share with other ladies. Let us get empowered. It is through which we know that we will be able to take intentional decisions. And marriage is a very, very important contract. My pastor usually says a marriage, it's one contract that you enter, and upon you entering, you are even required to set conditions of saying when you exit, how are you going to exit? And unfortunately, majority of us, when we get in, we are not thinking of exit. And exit, I'm not talking about divorce. Yes, as prudent women, we do not advocate for divorce. We believe marriage is from the Lord, and we should make it work by the help of the Lord. But when I talk exit, I'm talking about the death. So we enter into marriage, it's a contract, but surely it is appointed for men to die at some point. So that's why we're having this type of sessions. Mikateko has taken us through customary marriages, and we had ample time on customary marriages. And I appreciate you and understand that it was very important for you to take 2 weeks and explain customary marriages, because in terms of customary marriages, these are things which are not written, but they're customs which differ from one clan to another clan. But I would like to believe today it is in black and white. But of course, unless there's awareness for one to go out and seek more knowledge, one will not know. You do not know what you are missing until you're told. And, we are talking about this today being Sunday. And during the week, I've seen a thread making rounds, about a soccer star. What I loved about the response of the lady, she kept on saying, I am umfazi wephepha. So it means we are relevant. And now I'm not sure if, Mikateko, you have seen the thread, but I would like to believe as we talk, the issues that we're going to be talking about, some of it will help us to understand those things which were in the social media, because it's not everything that is out there which is true, but it's when we listen to the professionals that we'll be able to understand that what they are saying is true or what is actually happening. So we have dealt with the customary marriages. Today we are talking about civil marriages. And with civil marriages, I'm not sure, am I right, Mikateko, to say civil marriages you can say is the custom of the whites, because they imported it into our country and we followed through with the laws that they've brought in. What will you like to say a civil marriage is?
Okay, Sasra, let me recap like you did earlier on regarding customary marriages. When we come also to civil marriages, there are requirements also, because we cannot say because it's a culture that came through as our common law, which is our Roman Dutch law, by people who came by boats in our country. And it is not a bad thing that we are living and we are practicing that kind of a law. It is a good law that came to protect us as African. I don't want to say the customary marriage is a bad thing. However, it is the same. To me, customary marriage is similar to marriage in community of property, because the requirements and the implications during divorce or by death is similar. But when I saw the pamphlet saying Umfazo paper, I want to change that today and let you know that, to me, I don't believe that a civil marriage is Umfazo paper. It is a Umfazi who is having her documentation computerized, because when she needs a marriage certificate, she will go to Home Affairs to print it. To me, umfazi paper is a customary marriage where people write down. Remember when we were doing our customary marriages that there must be a
Lobola.
consent also. There must be yes, there must be a lobola which is paid. There must be, but that lobola is paid after certain requirements have been met, being a person who is above the age of 18, and the person who have consented to get married is similar also to the civil marriage. We do not, in civil marriage, you can't marry a minor. That person, when you enter into a civil marriage, you must also be a major person, and you must also go and sign, similar to what? Similar to customary marriage, where you paid lobola, there will be negotiations, then lobola is paid, then it is celebrated. It's the same as in civil marriage, in the sense that it means boyfriend, girlfriend, uncles, aunts, moms, dad will sit down and they will agree. We cannot say people will just go and sign in terms of the civil marriage. We must never shy away from our customs, and we must still continue to live in accordance with the customs of our culture, the customs that we celebrate here in South Africa. Then, when you opt to say, though they have paid lobola for me, I want my marriage to be in a civil marriage, where you will go and register your marriage at the Department of Home Affairs. It's similar to customary marriage, because remember, the Customary Marriage Act came along with a law that when you do that, you must also have it registered at the Department of Home Affairs. Then all along, to me, the lobola is the umfazi paper to me, but the civil marriage is the marriage of a person who, whether her documents get lost, who, whether whatever happens to her, if she needs a marriage certificate, she will go to any Department of Home Affairs and request a document to be printed for her, for whatever reasons what she wants to use it for. Therefore, I want to go back again to say, if ever you want to have that computerized marriage, which is documented by the Department of Home Affairs, they have also extended that gesture to customary marriage, that bring it on. Let us also register it to you. Then we are no longer having a person who will be calling herself to say, Mina, I am umfazi paper, unless we do not follow the laws. If you follow the law, there will be no one who will be coming to tell you, Yena is umfazi paper. But will be saying, must prove that indeed I got into a customary marriage which was registered, or I entered into a civil marriage where I went to the Department of Home Affairs. Remember, when you go to the Department of Home Affairs for marriage, it means you must go along as the bride. You go as your bride together with your witnesses. And the groom also will go together with you with their witnesses. And when they get to the Home Affairs, they will find a marriage officer who will indicate to them or explain to them the different kinds of marriage that I have already explained to you. And they will ask you, are you coming here today to be married in community of property? When you say yes, then they will, where are your witnesses? Your witnesses will be there. You will be with the marriage official. You will sign. They will congratulate and inform you that today you are married in community of property. However, when you are married, you are coming and then you tell them, I'm here to get married, but I am not going to get married in terms of in community of property. However, I want to enter into a marriage which is out of community of property, including or excluding accruals. Home Affairs will let you know then to say, we are not going to proceed today. We will want you to go and see a notary who will be writing down your contract. In that contract, you'll be indicating what is it that you had before you get married to this gentleman. And also the gentleman will be indicating what is it that is owning in his name before he reaches you as the bride. That is what it's all about. And in that contract, you decide what is it you want to do in respect of your estate. Remember, when you get into a marriage, you are now starting to build an estate. An estate in the sense that you'll be busy buying a house, buying furniture, having children, investing with whatever way, then it must be written in that particular contract. That is what we'll be talking about today.
Yes. And maybe Mikateko, just for the benefit of mainly our elderly parents, at our age, I would like to believe what you are saying about customary marriages. It's what we are supposed to be doing, and we appreciate that awareness. But I know that prior to the recognition of customary marriages, they did not register. And unfortunately, in society, when new things come, as far as it has come in 1998, I'm aware that there are those who still do not understand. And they think if I was married through that custom process, and now my partner goes and work away from me and get someone and they sign at Home Affairs, they give up and believe it is done. And with what you are saying, it shows that there is something that one can do because it's a marriage which is recognized. And I would like to believe those who are still standing and saying, mina ngimfazi wephepha, is because they still have that mentality that the courts of this country do not recognize anyone who has been married according to their custom. And we appreciate the great work that our courts are doing, because this, to me, the recognition of customary marriages, to me, I felt that was the political side of our freedom, which we were not yet having our freedom, because we were having our way of getting married, and our very own courts were saying we do not recognize it. But it's a breakthrough. But I just want you, if you can, just recap on how it works. What one can do. You do not have to say, because I was married first, but in custom, and I was under the impression that civil, if he has married civil, then I'm done. She's the umfazi wephepha and mina, I'm set aside.
Okay. It is just perceptions of certain individuals who thinks that to be married in terms of the customary marriage, it is not a marriage. When one goes, for instance, the example that you just gave in, that you are left at home in Bungeni as Mikateko being married at Bungeni, and my husband, Mashinji, goes and work in Gauteng and find someone, and they go and marry in terms of the civil marriage. That the civil marriage is not a lawful marriage. That person who will be flying in a document to say, I have a marriage certificate. Today I just need to advise those kind of ladies or our kokwane at home who feels like now they have lost everything because they understand the husband is living with another woman whom they went to sign, and it is a civil marriage. The law, I remember I've advised that in court, we look at matters according to its facts. Therefore, you can bring your document, but we look at the facts. The facts that we'll be looking at, for example, of the example that you indicated earlier on, to say there is a person who's flying in a marriage certificate. Then we go back when they come to our court for us to determine who is the legal wife between these two people. We will look at, when did you get married? If this person was married in customary marriage in 2018, and now you go and marry somebody else in 2021 in terms of the civil marriage, that civil marriage that you entered into with someone in 2021, it will be nullified. It will be nullified because by law, it is not allowed that you can use two different regimes to marry. When you want to marry again, if you have married before, it means you should continue and marry in terms of the customary marriage. And when you do that, the first person, the wife whom you have married before, should consent. Therefore, whether you fly a document or you do whatever, the facts of the circumstances of how that marriage came about will be evaluated by the courts. And normally, all the time, people will be saying, have a marriage certificate. Yes, we see your paper, but you went to a marriage when this man was married with someone else. Then that marriage will not exist. That marriage will be nullified. If there are children who are born out of that marriage, your children will be paid maintenance until such time you divorce this person whom you were married to in terms of the customary marriage. The law, it was not about law redressing the injustices of the past. It was just to rectify the rights of women in the country. Because women, when you read the law, all along women who were taken as minors, we were taken as children. Our husband had the say in everything that was happening in that particular marriage. Then the court was enforcing the right or the protection of a woman who is married to this person, that you cannot go around and marry different people in terms of different types of marital regime. It is a no. Decide on what you want to do. If you want to be married in civil marriage, go and get married into civil marriage. I just want quickly to venture into how us South African do our things. You see us normally. Most of the cultures in Limpopo, or most of the cultures in the rest of the Republic of South Africa, will first go to the customary issues of the payment of the lobola and everything. There's nothing wrong in now saying we are going to put our marriage. Remember, I'm saying the civil marriage came through with the Roman Dutch law, and the Roman Dutch law came along also with Christianity. And when it comes with Christianity, and we have now embraced in our lives that we accept
Yes.
Lord as our personal Savior. Then we take our marriage and say, we are taking our marriage to God. It doesn't mean that marriage, the day of marriage is changing. That if ever my lobola was done in 2018, and because we were still investing money to have our beautiful wedding, and we go to Home Affairs or our marriage officer, as this program is owned by a pastor who is a marriage officer, then we sign. When will be the date of marriage? The date of marriage is the date in which the lobola has been paid. Therefore, if this man comes and say, I want to marry again because earlier on we married in terms of the customary marriage, remind that partner to say no. After we have entered into our marriage in terms of the customary marriage, we agreed that we were doing that not to shy away from our cultures and our norms, but now we took our marriage to God. When we took our marriage to God, that is when we went for the civil marriage. It has the same, it had the same consequences and the strength. To me, customary marriage is similar to civil marriage, when it comes to the division of the joint estate. And
Yes.
it is allowed that lobola should be paid. And I'm a person who will forever advocate for the payment of lobola. Payment of
Mm.
lobola is not to buy a woman so that you can
Yes.
abuse a woman, but
Mm.
a payment of lobola because we are meeting as strangers. And I
Mm.
like how we are developing it nowadays, in a sense that you see them saying, "Bare kambarisaniwa." To me,
Mm.
that payment of lobola will be forming part of the things that we'll be buying for each other, exchanging gifts. That
Mm.
indicates that right now we are agreeing that we are no longer strangers. We are
Mm.
now a family. And if you
Yes.
go and then now when you feel like I need the protection in terms of the civil marriage, I wanted
Mm.
to take it to God. We continue. You wear your wedding gown. You can still go again to the Department of Home Affairs and say, now we didn't register it because during that time we knew that we want to enter into a marriage in the civil marriage. Then here
Yes.
we are today. Lobola has been paid, but we
Mm.
don't want it to be registered in terms of the customary marriage. But here we are today. We want to be registered in terms of the civil marriage. That can be done. That can
And
be done.
you know what you are saying, it's very important because I know in court dates are very important. When something happened, it's very important. So you are bringing awareness for us ladies to be able to understand when was something done. And you know what you taught us on customary marriages, the lobola letter and what must be there. I trust that the Prudent women still remembers what should form part of that. I would like us to go on an ad break, but when we come back, Mikateko, I just want to request you if you can recap a bit, give us more information in terms of what should a person whom their husband wants to marry a second wife, what is it that they should do? Because most of the time we do not know, and I think that's where sometimes abuse comes. That's where sometimes we are forced and things are said and you just give in. You see people going and getting married and the elderly wife is saying, no, I'm just doing it because I do not know what to do. I'm being coerced into doing it. So I would like you to touch on that. Let us go on an ad break. Welcome back. The show is Prudent Woman on Bold Moves Radio. You are welcome, and I would like to say you are welcome even to those who are joining us for the first time. You know, I love something that I have observed with Prudent women. We do not want to grow alone. I see every week ladies are inviting other people. I see them tagging others and say, please come along. And those of you who feel you have joined late, you are not late. Thanks God to fourth industrial revolution, to technology, you can always go back and catch up. We are always here. You just go to Bold Moves Radio, either on YouTube or Facebook. And I would like to appreciate all of you who are continuously subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. That way you will never miss anything that goes on Bold Moves Radio. We will always update you. Thank you very much for subscribing. I would like to come back to you, Mikateko. Let us talk about what is it that I have to do as a woman who is married and my partner is asking to marry another woman.
Okay. Since I've done customary marriages, and I think I went through it in details. Let moni xi veka hi xichangani xa ku hlantsweka ku ri loko u langhile vukati bya xilungu, n'wembe a ya ha pfumeriwi ku nava. Sa mi vona n'wembe loko ku wa tin'wembe kaya va ku u nga khi aka va ri yini nhompfu laha yi fambaka hi kona, u fika u va ku yi nge he swi koti ku nava, u nga yi dlayi nhompfu leyi yi fambaka yi karhi yi branch-a yi ya hala na hala. Loko when you get married in terms of the civil marriage, that butternut plant or the pumpkin plant is not allowed to spread. You go and cut off that branch which is supposed to be moving and create a web. You can see we grew up where we'll go and pick up miro ya tin'hwembe in our smaller gardens or bigger farms for those. Then a civil marriage, it is not allowed. You cannot, in terms of the civil marriage, which is a common law marriage, and you now say you want to enter into a second marriage. It is unfortunate. It will be an unlawful marriage. Even if you can go to the highest court of the land, which is our constitutional court, and you tell them you want to get married to another partner in terms of the civil marriage, they will tell you it is unlawful. It will not be allowed because it is not our law. The civil law says one wife, one husband. Then you chose it. It means we have cut nomfuliani ya n'wembe ku ri n'wembe leyi yi nga ha navi yi ta tshamisa sweswiyani, yi ta tswala ntsena swikwembyani swa kwalaya sweswiya swintsanana hi mhaka ku ri hi khatile nhompfu ku ri yi nga ha navi ya mahlweni yi tseme kwalaya. Yes, u khetile yo tshama kwalayani. Loko swikwembyani swi ta beburiwa kwalaya ka n'hwembe yaliyani kwalaya ntsena, a yi nge he koti ku nava. It will not grow any further by marrying other women because you chose to be in a civil marriage. And if you want to change and say I'm a polygamist, it means you must change your marital regime. And when you change your marital regime, it means then you should divide your estate. During that time, a division of the joint estate should be done, because here comes a Mikateko who have invested in this marriage in terms of the civil marriage for so many years. And now you want to venture into a customary marriage. Then divide your estate. Get what is yours, you put it aside. Then you start with a customary marriage. And it will be done only and only if the wife has agreed to have a sister wife. Then loko u lava ku nghenelela, when you want to be in a marriage which has come by a ship, you must practice what those people were doing.
Yes.
The people who brought to us the Bible, and which to me is a constitution in a way to me, because it has written the do's and the don'ts, in as much as the constitution that governs the laws of the Republic of South Africa also have written down the do's and don'ts in a marriage. Then when you venture into a civil marriage, then you will be having one wife. Let me quickly indicate that you
maybe before you proceed, I see we are cutting you on the screen. If you can just go back a little bit for us. Ye- uh, Again, just a little bit. Yes, you can talk. Don't come forward.
All right. Yes, I
Yes.
wanted to say that let's say you out of the consent of the two of you,
Mm,
you say you want to change your marital regime. That
mm,
can be done also. It
okay.
doesn't mean you rush to the divorce court. If you have agreed and you trust one another, you
Mm,
can go and change a marital regime. It is not an irregular thing which courts will found unlawful, but you approach the court and you make
mm,
an application to say, I have been married in terms of civil marriage in community of property, but
mm,
I've realized the way of life, our
mm, mm,
livelihood, the source of our livelihood can cause
mm,
a prejudice to our children or to my spouse, my other spouse. Then you can approach the court and say, since 1998, I've been married to my husband in
mm.
community of property. However, the risk of our profession, we might lose everything. Then we
Yes.
want to change our marital regime and
Mm,
venture into out of community of property. It doesn't mean you are divorcing. No,
mm,
you apply to the court, you explain your circumstances that our circumstances has changed so much that the marital regime that we initially chose, it is
mm,
not what we want anymore. There's no
mm.
court that is going to refuse you. They will grant you an order. As long as your papers are in order in court, when the judge has read your documents and find them to be proper, and the
Yes.
reasons behind you wanting
Mm,
to change your marital regime, they do that
mm,
to you. They will
mm.
grant you an order. You will be going to the Department of Home Affairs with your antenuptial contract. Then you produce it. Then it is now a marriage out of
Different
community
marital.
of property.
Yeah.
And
You know,
out of yes.
when you are there, I just looking at the comments here. I just want to request for you to just go back a little bit. It's linked to what you are saying now. We know, we understand that you said civil marriages and customary marriages. With the law that came in 1998, it becomes the same when it's in community of property. But I understand that there's out of community of property, out and out of community of property with accruals. And I've seen the comments and questions that ladies were coming up with when we're talking about us coming to air on civil marriages. There is so much confusion just between the two, out and with accruals. Looking at the time, if you can just in a nutshell, just give that highlight, the ladies will go and make more research once they are aware of what is the difference.
Out of community of property, including accruals, it means on a date in which you get married, you will be writing down the things that you are having when you enter into a marriage on that particular time. As to we're having this worth of estate. I came along to this marriage with this worth of an estate. It must be written on that antenuptial contract. Then
Mm,
it means whatever you will be doing together from the date in which you got married, it belongs to the two of you. It is including accruals. What you are accruing, it will be put in the same pot. Whoever is throwing something is throwing it to the benefit of the other, and
mm,
you benefit both of you because it is with including accrual. The word speaks for itself. However, there
yes.
is another marriage which is out of community of property, totally out. You,
Mm,
each one of you are generating your own estate.
mm,
But it doesn't mean that if you are generating your own estate, you can leave the other person to starve and say, isn't you set out and out and you are not making money? You can donate to the one who is not having enough. I think I once spoke of it when we had the Abigail arise to say, Abigail, when she took all the sheep the raisins and everything. Do you think
mm,
she took the properties that were belonging to that abusive husband and handed to David? I
mm,
think the husband was a bit knowing the law. He was donating to her. She
mm,
took what was donated to her. Then it means when you do out of community, out of and out, it is
mm,
allowed to donate. You can say to your wife to say, today, I no longer need that motor vehicle. Go and register it into your names. Then it
mm,
is yours. I no longer need the ships, 5 ships. I'm donating them to you.
mm,
Then it is done. It is done in that manner. It is done mostly with people who are very rich, who
mm,
knows that, and rich people, they are rich because there's a risk that they took.
mm,
There are risk implications. They're generating money, but there's a risk that they can lose everything in just a click, a
mm,
blink of an eye. They might lose everything. Then when married, what they normally do, they will donate it as a donation to the other partner. And a
mm,
court will not go and say, no, 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 we're coming to sell your things now because this was coming from your husband. No, it was a donation. And that
yes.
donation, if it is out and out, should be
Mm,
registered. You go back to your notary and
mm,
say, he donated 5 ships for me. Go and
mm,
have it written there. It's to safeguard yourself so that if one day trouble starts, you will be
mm,
able to have a leg to stand on to say, no, 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 you can't be taking this car. Though
mm.
he bought it, but he donated it to me.
To yes,
Mm.
and as I was doing my research in preparation for the show, I came through the issues of going to a notary, and most of the comments there were saying it's expensive to go to a notary, and which you should understand. I mean, these are professionals, but what catched my eye was a case, someone saying when they wanted to change their civil marriage to a civil marriage which was in community of property to out of community of property, they abandoned the process in the as it was going because they felt it was expensive. The court was expecting them to notify their debtors, their creditors, and that became cumbersome for them. And they said they were changing their marital regime because they were in debt, wanting to run away. What can you advise us? Because I know this is one issue that pushes most of us to change the marital regime, even though we understand we are getting this information to empower ourselves, mainly for those who are not yet married, to make intentional decisions. But if I want to change because I'm in debt, what will you advise one?
I will not be able to give that kind of an advice. You saw those people are already in trouble, and they are shying away from their trouble. And but that court was honest to them to say, go and write down and inform your creditors that you
Yes.
today you are changing to from in community to out of community.
Mm,
It was an illegal act, and court will not entertain an illegal thing. Unfortunately, we do not act upon things that we can see. It is not in terms of the law. No, we cannot. That court was right. That court
mm,
was right to say, approach a notary. And why can't you have a lawyer if you want to live an expensive lifestyle of changing from in community of property to out of community of property? That is a challenge with us, mostly black people. We don't want to pay for services. We want free services. In as much as when you are sick, you go to the hospital, you pay a doctor. You take a ride in a taxi, you must pay for your taxi fares. Why is it expensive then to pay a lawyer? A lawyer is somebody who speaks for you over emotional things. There are things
mm,
even myself who is in a legal profession, when it comes to me that I should resolve it. I don't think I can go to court and say I will represent myself because I know the law. Those are
mm,
emotional things that instead of speaking sense You will be speaking emotions. But if
mm,
you have a lawyer will be putting it on your behalf without using any emotions. Therefore,
mm,
why can't you approach a notary? Why can't you approach a lawyer who can do it for you?
mm,
We are now in a space where we should go with the flow. If you are
yes.
a family and you don't have a lawyer, I don't know. And if you are a family, if you are a Christian, you don't have a parent who's parenting you spiritually, something
Mm,
is wrong with you. Then if you
yes.
don't have a family doctor, you are going from one doctor to another. You'll be even given wrong medication one day. You should stick to one doctor who knows your history of your condition. Then why
Mm,
can't you have a lawyer who will understand the dynamics of your family? Like I
mm,
indicated, when you get married, you need to know, am I getting married to a breadwinner? If you are marrying a breadwinner, you should know out of the money that he will be getting, he will
mm,
first also take care of other extended family members. Therefore,
mm,
you go there, you sit with your lawyer, and you understand the implications of what you'll be getting into. Then,
mm,
to me, if you don't want to pay a lawyer, and you abandon things like that because you couldn't afford them, it means
mm,
those people, wherever they are right now, they have lost everything. But
mm,
if they went through the process and approach a notary,
mm,
lawyers lawyers understands. They will tell you how much it will cost you to do something on your behalf, and they can even give you a payment plan to say, I am going to assist you, but on a monthly basis I expect you to be paying this much. Why can't you do that to
mm,
safeguard your own estate? You are working very hard, you fell into debts, your creditors are after you, you
mm,
abandon a process that is supposed to be assisting you. Do you think
mm,
the court will come and tell you that, oh, we understand? No. Court
mm,
will tell them, sell
mm,
their properties, regain your monies. And
mm,
once things are attached, let's say you are married in community of property, and one
mm,
person is the one who was creating more debts in that particular relationship, and you did
mm,
nothing about it. That's your
mm,
consequences. You did nothing, you never reacted. It means
mm.
even those things that you have worked hard for, they are going to become part of an estate that will be sold. Therefore, if you realize that we are now venturing into a very risky business, and it
Mm,
will be best if we change our marital regime,
mm,
consult a lawyer, pay a lawyer, in as much as you are able to pay a doctor. Pay a
yes.
lawyer to do your legal things. We are no longer living in the dark ages where we are just doing things, not writing down. But we are now in the computer world, fourth industrial revolution. Do
Mm,
something about your lifestyle, do something about the livelihood of your family. And when you
mm,
do this, you're not only doing it for yourself, but you are also doing it for the benefit of the children. Remember, marriage, in a marriage, children are born, and you must
yes.
safeguard their rights.
Interest.
Today,
Mm,
kids cannot be living in a beautiful house, and then tomorrow they found themselves in a total different space. You will
mm,
be creating a depression for your kids on issues that
yes.
a lawyer should have assisted you. I'm not saying that people should run and get lawyers. There are situations that you can do on your own without involving a lawyer. But if it is a complicated issue that on your own you can see that we are in trouble when you look at your finances, then go and sit with a lawyer who will advise you to say, because of this debt has happened during this time and this was happening, this is how we are going to assist you. And the courts will look at the circumstances of your case and make a decision out of the documents that has been sent before court. How we
Mm, mm,
can resolve one matter belonging to the Palois, it will not be the same as how we can resolve a matter that is belonging to Mashinjas. And remember one thing, there are people who think that when you are married in out and out, you live like that, you live with nothing. No, this is something which I realize people are making a mistake to say when you are married out and out of community, you will live without anything. Let's say it's out of community of property. This wife never worked.
Mm.
Do you think this woman, she must just live like that? Who was
No,
doing the laundry for this man? Who was
she was
cooking for this
working.
man? She was working.
Her
Then there is
profession
that
was a
narrative.
housewife. Mm.
Yeah, that, yes, she's working. It doesn't
Mm.
mean if now you have married me out of community of property, I never worked anywhere. I'll
Mm.
remain at home. Even if you
Mm.
were rich and you left me with a nanny, I was supervising my domestic worker. I gave birth to children. I've been
Mm.
taking care of you as a husband and taking care of these children. Doesn't mean that I should just pack, if we divorce, I just pack my bags and go. No, doesn't work
Mm.
like that. We look
Yes.
at the fact in accordance with the circumstances of each and every case. Here comes a wealthy man. He just divorces you because he found you now unattractive
Mm.
and fine because he's rich. He can afford beautiful young girls who can
Mm.
come and assist to eat the money because now you are old, you are not evil, you are no longer able to even make use of that wealth that is having. Doesn't mean
Mm.
you are going to pack your bags and go. When you go to the divorce court, the court will look at the circumstances of your case and say, yes, you have never worked.
Mm.
You
Mm. Mm.
remained at home. You married this rich person.
Mm.
You are the one. Remember Michelle Obama, she said one statement which I loved. She said,
Mm.
I made Barack Obama to be the president. Yes,
Yes.
you were at home. You were at home doing nothing. But
Mm.
you made this man to be wealthy because you
Yes.
allowed him day in, day out to go and make money. And when he comes home exhausted, you will run a bath for him, you will cook for him, you will wash for him when he's doing all these dealings where he's signing documents. You were part
Yes.
of it. Out
Mm.
and
Mm.
out doesn't mean that I will go back with nothing. But
Mm.
the law protects women, more especially women. The law
Mm.
protects them. It doesn't mean out and out, I'll just pack my bags and they say bye bye. No,
Mm.
it doesn't work like that. There are things that courts are going to look at and say, because has been living with you, you never donated anything to her. She's been
Mm.
working for you. She has been taking care of you. You must
Mm.
share something. It doesn't mean if it's out and out, no. God will look at the circumstances. That is why you see cases out of rich people, out of communities of property dragging in court. It is
Mm.
dragging because a lawyer is enforcing a right of somebody else who have worked so hard being at home and you going out and make money. And it happens mostly. And unfortunately, today, I just want to teach women and prudent women that
Mm.
most of the people who are married out and drag cases, not
Mm.
wanting to donate, it is
Yes.
women.
Mm.
It is women. Then you should remember that you agreed to marry this one who doesn't want to work, and
Mm. Mm.
you loved him, but you said, if this one is lazy and let it's best out of community of property, it will drag because that man will need that money. He will tell you, it's me who was giving you emotional support when you were coming back
Mm.
crying
Mm.
over
But
things from work.
Mikateko, may I interject you there? I think it's because recently there is a trend of men getting married to women who are wealthy, and they do not even stay for long. You start to observe that it was a marriage of convenience. But what I love as well, it's what you are bringing, the awareness for us to say, don't look at what the Balois, what the court did to the Balois, and think the court will do the same to the machines. But you must approach the court with your facts and present them and allow the judges to make a decision. But I think with the current the example that you are showing, you are indicating, I think is because of the trend that is currently happening. But I would also like to make prudent women to be aware. That's why it's important, as Simkateko is saying, you should have a professional who advise you on things that you know you do not know. Because should you have had a lawyer before you enter into that marriage, the lawyer will have been able to foresee certain things or to put in place things that will make sure that you are covered. Because some of us, women, we want to be loved. Mikateko. We want to be loved, but again, women were emotional. I think that's why you see us dragging in court, because we become emotional. I say, no, I realize this one was very lazy instead of waking up and going to work. So I'm just trying to bail out women, to say, please bear with us. It's because of our emotions, but again, sometimes it's because we have been negligent.
No, with us, we do things. You are saying we're emotional. You are even emotional when it comes to love. You see you see the symptoms of this person who forever is at home with you, requesting this and that. Those are the kind of people whom you should now have a lawyer to safeguard your estate, because it means this person will be a baby forever, or will be a dependent on you forever. Then you need to consult. And there are those people whom the latest trend that I'm seeing, and which I'm worried about, it is a divorce for convenience. In a sense that people nowadays are getting divorced because they are entitled to 50% of the pension of whoever. Let's say both of us are working. People are now, they are fallen in debt and they approach court and get divorced for the convenience of getting the 50%. And it is very painful, because some goes there thinking it is it's a divorce of convenience. They divorce, this guy was never worked, and they give that person a 50%, because remember, when pension pays the 50%, it doesn't pay to me who's working. They're paying the 50% to the person who is entitled to it, and that person vanishes. That person, and you went into divorce thinking that this is for our convenience. We want to pay for our debts. Then I'm telling ladies that when you do this kind of things, consult a lawyer, because court will never know that this is just a divorce of convenience. To us, the papers drafted by the lawyers will never tell us that these people are getting divorced just because they are having debt. We grant you a decree of divorce. We don't know that you were lying to us. And immediately the pension money is paid. We see a lot of women coming back crying to say, we have agreed, but it's nowhere to be found. Then I just need to conscientize women that do things right. Do things right and consult a lawyer, consult somebody, and you know your own person, the one who will be insisting, no, if ever we get divorced, how much are you having? You tell
Yes.
them the amount. If we can get divorced, then you will get this much. We'll pay this and that. It is a dangerous thing. It is a dangerous thing, because you will be losing, and they will be taking your 50% and make use of it somewhere else, and you'll be left alone crying. Matter why? It's because of what? Your foolishness. I'm sorry to use this word, because you should have
Yes.
went to a lawyer. You should have went to a lawyer and consult a lawyer. But I think with this kind of programs that we are doing, women will understand that not
Yes.
everything that they are being told, it is for their own benefit. But
Yes.
consult when somebody drops an issue like this, don't rush and do
Don't
it.
run. Mm,
There's
mm,
nothing wrong to say, I'm still thinking about it, and I
mm.
still need to consult a lawyer, because even at the end, if you're married, when you divorce, you'll get 50%. But
50
don't go and have a convenient divorce solely for the sake that somebody wants that 50%,
one's
because that
money.
50% will be going to the other side, not to you, and you'll be remaining at home. The 50%
Mm,
is gone. The debts were never paid off, they are still remaining, and
and
the
you are
creditors,
still going to pay them. Mm,
yeah,
mm, mm,
creditors are still after you. Creditors are still after you. You see, then we say, as women, we need to empower ourselves. We need
mm,
to have our own lawyers who will be advising us on the issues of our estates. Since
mm,
remember, the marriage is dissolved by either a divorce or
of
by
death.
either of death.
Sis Mikateko,
Then,
unfortunately, our time is gone. But I see ladies, I see Sis Thandeka Masilela saying, indeed, knowledge is power. We thank God for this plan, for this platform. Says Priscilla Shiluban saying, powerful and practical. Thank you so much. We would like to say thank you. We cannot thank you enough. But I would like to believe prudent women have been made aware of what civil marriages are, and you went further to even conscientize us on what is currently happening. You know, ladies are resigning at work left and right, and they are crying. And the main problem is that the children, as you said, they are the ones who suffer. Thank you so much for being with us, Prudent ladies. This was Prudent Woman on Bold Moves Radio. As you know, we are here every Sunday, 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock. We would like to say thank you, and we will not want to say bye before we thank our father, Pastor Strike. I'm here with him on the studio. He's our executive producer, and I would like to say thank you to Nyathi, our co-producer. Thank you so much. I trust that this information that was shared today will change your lives. If you have already entered into a marriage, but you still have our children, you still have loved ones, the society, because some of the GBVs that are happening is because people did not take intentional decisions when they were entering into this type of program of contracts. We'd like to say thank you. Have a blessed week. We shall see you next week, same time, same place.